Hey there, crochet friends. I'm Mo, your crochet companion, and today we're making something stylish, cozy, and functional. Fingerless gloves using link stitches. Why did the crochet hook apply for a job? It wanted to work its fingers to the bone, just like these gloves. Okay, that was even cheesy for me. Alright, so before we go too far, let's discuss something first. So we're doing a linked stitch. So this is the Linked HDC, the Linked Treble Crochet, and the Linked Double Treble, as well as we are working with the Half Double Crochet foundation row. So you'll want to make sure that you stop, go and watch those real quick if you haven't already. That way you can keep up with me on this particular video. So it's the Mastering the Single Crochet DC video and Mastering the Half Double Crochet, Double Crochet, and Double Treble Crochet link stitches, as well as there is another video that is the Half Double Crochet, Treble, and Double Treble foundation rows. So you'll want to check those out before you come back and move forward on this particular video. So what makes these gloves so special? Most gloves stretch out over time, but not these. Link stitches give a snug, structured fit without extra gaps. Plus, they're customizable, shorter for wrist warmers or longer for full arm coverage. As you can see, they are dense but flexible and no gappy holes. I absolutely love these. As I am sitting here, my hands are sweating already. So they're the perfect, when I say perfect, I mean perfect fingerless gloves. Hey, let's talk about our materials. So you are going to pick whatever is your favorite color. A worsted weight. I picked this peacock from I Love This Yarn. It is a worsted weight, but it's a little bit finer, but this is my favorite color and it is my favorite kind of yarn, and I love this metallic. I mean, I'm just obsessed with this metallic color that's in this yarn. So we're going to set that aside for a second. We are going to need a darning needle, our scissors, and our size G hook. You can also use a size H hook, doesn't matter to me. Whatever you decide is best for you. You do need to adjust your gauge, you know, if it's bigger or smaller, depending on what you find as you go. And then stitch markers, and then our tape measure. Okay, so before we start, I want to go ahead and let's measure our hand. So you're going to measure this this part of your hand right here all the way around. So you might need somebody to help you do that. I actually just kind of spread my hand out just a little bit, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So mine was just about 8 inches. Originally I had crocheted about 9 inches, but I found that it was too big. So it was about 8. So when I say I was originally, because I actually measured this part of my hand, thinking that I would need that part of my hand, but it's actually just underneath the thumb. That's where I measured, and it got to be 8 inches. Now, there are 2 ways that you can start this. One, you can do the linked chain foundation row, or you can do the HDC foundation row. Now, if you don't remember how to do either one, go ahead and pause this and check out those videos that I talked about in the first part of the tutorial in the introduction, and find the appropriate video and come back here once you are ready. So for me, I'm actually going to be doing the HDC foundation row because I find that it is much smoother. It keeps it even, and it does have a little bit of a stretch, so that's why you don't want to go too big with your inch count, you know, when you're measuring your hand and stuff. So today, as you can see, I'm already starting on my foundation row, and that's because I want you to go ahead and watch that corresponding video if you have not ever done the foundation row, and then come back and visit me once you are actually done watching that, so you know how to do what we're doing. Okay, in the meantime, what I found is that for 8 inches I crocheted 27 of the foundation row stitches. So I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be 5. So go ahead and meet me back here after you've got 27 stitches if your hand is about the same size as mine. All right, we'll be back in jiffy. Okay, so as you can see, the HDC foundation row, it is much less fiddlier and it is a better alternative, and it stretches really well. So let's get our tape measure out again. It also, another thing that to consider with the foundation row is it does keep it nice and straight and even. But you know, if you prefer to do the chain, go ahead and check out that chain linked foundation. That'll help out a little bit. So I kind of stretch it out just a little bit just to kind of go ahead and measure it. So I'm pretty close to 8 right there. If you just stretch it out just a little bit more, it's definitely 8, and it will stretch out as you work your stitches. Okay, so what we are doing, we're starting off with the cuff section, which is the section that's right down here at the lower part of your wrist, and we're going to be doing the half double crochet link stitch, and it is going to be in the back loop only. We're going to do about 7 total rows, so that includes the HDC foundation row. So you're going to do another 6 rows of the HDC linked crochet stuff. So this actually will help keep it nice and snug, and that has a nice stretchy cuff. All right, so let's go ahead and start with that linked HDC. So you are going to chain 2. Let me go a little bit closer because this is the fun stuff, and this is another reason why I asked you to go ahead and pause and watch that video, because my other video I have a better color yarn that is better on video. So but this is my favorite colors, so boo. Anyway, so the second chain from the hook, you're going to go ahead and insert your hook, pull up a loop, and in the back loop, so if you remember correctly from previous videos, we're going to work in the back loop. So the front loop is this one. So actually, let's go ahead and pull these both up. So these are both of your loops. The front loop is here, and then the back loop is here. So we're going to go into the back loop, pull up a loop, then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Now, if you've already watched my link stitch, you know that we are going to be going into the middle vertical bar right here. So there's 2 on the sides, and then there's 1 in the middle. So we're going to go into that vertical bar, pull up a loop, then we're going to go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then you're going to go into that middle bar again and just keep going until you get to the end of the row. And I'm going to keep going until we get to row 7. So I'm going to meet you back here at the end of, oh, I did it again. We're supposed to be in the back loop. Back loop only. So let's try that again. Back loop only. There we go. Back loop only. How does that saying go? Do as I say, don't do as I do. Okay, back loop only. And remember, when you get to the end of your row, you're going to chain 2 and go into that second stitch from your hook. Insert your hook, yarn over, go to the next stitch, insert your hook, pull up a loop, all that good stuff, and then make sure you turn somewhere in there. You can either turn before you get before you do the stitch or while you're doing the stitch. I like to turn after I've already insert my hook into that second chain from the hook. So Anyway, I will see you back here once I get to 7 rows. All right, look at that, how comfy and stretchy that looks. I mean, oh, it's gonna fit like a dream. I guarantee it. So, all right, so the next 4 rows, we're actually going to do the linked treble crochet. So let me, oh, actually I need to go forward a little bit. All right, so with the half double, remember the half double and the double treble, we have 2. We use 2 turning chains. With the treble, we're going to do 3. So before we actually chain, I like to insert my hook into the chain itself. So that's that first, or excuse me, the second chain from the hook, and then we're going to go into the 3rd chain from the hook. We're going to turn it, and now we're going to actually go into both of those loops. No longer going to just do one of those loops. Then we're going to crochet it like a normal treble crochet. Okay. Now, here comes the fun part. We're going to go into that vertical bar. So there's going to be 2 vertical bars that we're going to go into, this one and this one. So let me insert my hook here so you can see it. That one and that one. And then we're going to go into the first or the next stitch. So 1 and 2 vertical bars. So now we have 3 strands on our hook. We're going to go into the next stitch, pull up the loop. Now we have 4. You're going to yarn over and pull through like a regular treble. So we're going to keep going that way until we've gotten 4 of these rows done, okay? All right, so just keep on going until you get to the end of this row. And then just remember, actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and finish this row real quick. We're going to go through the turn one more time, because I know that the treble is a little bit more confusing. And I'll meet you at the end of the row. How about that? Okay, so we made it to the end of that first row, so I'm just going to go over this one more time so you, as a refresher. So you're going to chain of 3, insert your hook into the second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, into the third chain from the hook, pull up a loop, and we're going to turn our work and insert our hook into that very first chain, or excuse me, the first stitch. Then, as usual, like we're doing a double or a treble, excuse me, I'm already thinking ahead to the double treble. Then you do the 2 vertical bars and into the next stitch and finish your treble. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish rows 3, or the second, third, and fourth rows of the treble link stitch. As you can see, it's already looking so neat and so lovely. It's given us that height and a nice closed, no gap kind of feel, kind of vibe to it. So, all right, I'll be back after the next 3 rows. See you back here. All right, so we got 4 rows of the treble done. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And now we want to move on and do our thumb. So you can see here on my one thumb, we need to create the hole for the thumb. So on this one, I actually crocheted all the way to the end and then added my hole and then finished it off. But this time I'm going to start, because I want my, I want it to actually match my hands. One on that side and one on that side. And I want to make sure that my seam is on the inside of my wrist, so that when you're playing around or whatever, everybody's seeing that the pretty side of your hand. Not that you can really see this very much, but we want to make sure that we're doing it that way. So what I'm going to do is that I actually had figured out a great count. So it's 6 from the end. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put my stitch marker there. And then we need 3 more stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put another stitch marker there. So that's where our thumb is going to be. So we're going to do 1 more row of the treble. So we're going to do that chain of 3. Well, maybe. Insert our hook into that second chain. And again in the third chain, turn our work and insert our hook into that first stitch and work our treble. Okay, so now we are going to work our trebles until we get to the stitch marker. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more stitches to go. You know, I got to thinking while I was doing this is almost, yeah, it's called the link stitch, but it's almost like it's interlock. I think I pronounced that right. If anybody's ever done Tunisian, they know what the interlock is. It's like a series of boxes, little boxes that you go different directions with. So it's been a long time since I've done it, and I did a little patchwork blanket, and it took me forever to do it. I mean forever, but it didn't help much that I picked a size G hook. If I had it to do it again, I would definitely pick a larger hook. Alright, so now that we've got those 6 stitches done, we're going to go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip over those 3 stitches and go into our next marker. Now this is going to be where it's going to be a little bit trickier, so I'm going to kind of teach you a little bit different technique of the link stitch. So we're just going to go in here and do a double treble, just like we normally would do a double treble. So let's go back to that again. So it's 1, 2, 3. A double treble is a yarn over 3. Oh, excuse me, not a double treble. We need to do a treble, not a double treble. So it's 1, 2, and then we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. So there we go. Now, here's the part that's going to be trickier because this is not your normal linked stitch. So we're going to do it slightly different. And I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see this. So you see how the stitch, you kind of got almost a vertical bar here and a vertical bar here. And this is just the normal stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook into this vertical bar, kind of wraps over that way, and into this vertical bar right here that kind of wraps that way to create our next link stitch. All right, so we're going to insert our hook into that vertical bar, pull up a loop, then we're going to go into this vertical bar, pull up a loop, and then into the next stitch, and repeat our treble crochet as usual. So as you can see, it did perfectly, and now you can continue on the regular link stitch. All right, so I'm going to meet you down here at the end of the row, and we're going to start doing the double treble stitch. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. So now we've got a nice thumb, so it's going to make the perfect fit. So let me show you kind of how it's going to work, just like that. So it's going to be a perfect fit for movement while keeping your hands nice and toasty. I like to wear these because I type a lot, and sometimes my body is hot but my hands are cold, so I'll put these on so that I can type and keep my fingers warm without having a hindrance. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go to the double treble. So with the half double and the double, remember we do a chain of 2 when we're turning. The treble, we do a chain of 3. And so now the double treble, we're going to do a chain of 4. Oh, I got into a habit of yarning over. So instead of yarning over, we're going to insert our hook into that second stitch, pull up a loop. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook. Then we're going to go into that second chain from the hook, third chain from the hook, pull up a loop. Now we're going to go into that 4th chain from the hook, pull up a loop. Now we've got 4 loops on our hook. We're going to turn our work, insert our hook into that first stitch, pull up a loop, and then we're going to work a double treble just like normal. All right, so now that we've got this, so the treble, remember we have 2 vertical bars to work with. This one we have 3, so you're going to have 1, 2, and 3 vertical bars that you're going to be working into. So we're going to do our first one, pull up a loop, second one, pull up a loop, third one, pull up a loop. And we're going to go into that second, or the next stitch on the work, and work our double treble as usual. Okay, so I'm going to keep going until we get to our thumb hole, and I'll meet you there. Okay, we're to the thumb, so let's work the thumb together. Oh, I already forgot what I was doing here. So we're going to finish that last stitch right before the chains. We're going to go right into this stitch right here. Keep going as usual. Now we're going to go into this stitch, this chain right here. I'm actually going to grab the top 2, so I'm going to kind of go underneath that hump. So only have 1 hump there. The other thing you can do is to grab the back hump and go into that one as well. That's fine too. Either way works. Alright, 4 chains. We're going to go back into that next chain. I think that was what I was talking about in one of those videos where you can easily kind of go beyond, like you get in a hurry and next thing you know you did that. Got into 3 instead of 2. Alright, almost done with that thumb part here. And then we just finish our row as usual. Okay, we're going to do one more row of the double treble. So a chain of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to go into that second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, third chain, pull up a loop, 4th chain, pull up a loop, turn your work, next stitch, pull up a loop, work that double treble. And just keep going just like you would normally do for the linked double treble. And I will meet you at the end of the round. All right, I'm excited. We're in the home stretch. So let's recap what we did. So we did 7 rows of the half double linked stitch, and we did 4 rows of the treble stitches, and then we did another one. Well, technically we did 5, but the 5th one we did our thumb hole, and then we did another 2 rows of the double treble. I'm loving how this particular stitch, I love how close it is together. This is like the perfect stitch to use for gloves and hats because it's like it's so close together. It's almost kind of like knit, really, but I like the, because you know how normally it's really lacy when you do a treble or a double treble. So but this, it's just perfect because it worked up so quickly, and yet the stitches are so close together, so it just really, it's perfect. I can't even say it any better than that. But we're in the home stretch now. We are going to finish off by doing a crab stitch or a reverse single crochet. All right, let's do this. Do a chain of 1 and then just do a reverse stitch all the way to the other end. And I do this just so it just gives it a nice finish. I don't know, I do a lot of a crab stitch or the reverse single crochet on a lot of my edging and pieces of work, especially clothing, because it does just give us, it's a simple but effective edging and finishing touch. So, and you know, you can do things with this particular pattern, you know, like throw a button in here, button in there. The one thing I would like to say is that you can always extend it, you know, make it longer, make it shorter. I've thought about adding actual more of a substance to the thumb, so it comes up further on the thumb, so like only the little top bits of my thumb is peeking out. I'm not going to do that for this particular tutorial, but I might in the future. I just wanted to focus on the linked stitch. And I have even done like fingerless gloves where it's actually more considered a convertible glove, but you kind of got to be a little bit careful with the convertible part because sometimes it can kind of come off a little X-rated. I'll just put it that way, and I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to put that. It's a little bit trickier to do a convertible mitt with crochet. So all right, so now I want you guys to create a nice long tail for yourself because you're going to use that tail to put your ends together. You're going to sew your ends together. All right, so this one is like that. So we want to have this one going the opposite direction for your left hand. Well, for my left hand. So I'm going to fold it up that way. I'm going to line up my rows here, and then I'm going to do the mattress stitch to weave them together. So I'm just going to do a couple of the stitches of the mattress stitch so you guys can have a basic understanding of what the mattress stitch is. I have done the mattress stitch before in another tutorial, but we'll do it again just in case somebody hasn't watched that one that I did it. So the mattress stitch, you go from the inside out, matching and lining your rows up together. So you're going to go straight across. Now we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to go the other direction. No, sorry, we're going to go on the other side. So we go on the other side from the inside out. That way you don't see the stitch very much. So back over here. We're going to line it directly straight across so you can't see it very well. And then just keep going. You're going to match up your stitch, or line up your rows so they match, so it's not as noticeable that you weaved your ends in together. All right, that is pretty much the tail end there. I will see you back here as soon as I have finished weaving in everything and putting it together. In just a moment, I'll be right back. All right, we got all of our edges together, ends weaved in, so let's go see how it fits. Let's put it on. Oh, look at that. See how perfectly breathable and stylish it looks? That is really cool, if I do say so myself. Will my camera go out any further? I don't think it's going to go out any further. I really like that. That's really awesome. Maybe I need to go up my camera. There we go. Now you can see the whole thing. I really like how tight it is. You know, well, not really tight, but the stitches are tight together. And that's what the benefit of those link stitches are. I really like that. That is awesome. Look at that. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. Nice little ridges and longer stitches. And then a nice finishing touch. All right, so let's talk about some gauge things. So we want to keep it snug without stretching too much. And you know, as you can see, the stitches created a raised texture but molds to the hem. So I mean, it really does. I love this. And then it adds height but doesn't flop like a traditional treble, like that lacy. That lacy is just not sufficient for this type of a piece of work. If you want a tighter fit, you can go down a hook size. If your measurement's not quite right, add a couple more stitches or reduce the stitches. At the starting row, mine was 27 and it fit perfectly for 8 inches. So again, make sure that you're measuring this part of your hand all the way across, right underneath the thumb, all the way down. And then if you get really crazy, you can always add your stitches in the round around the thumb and bring that up so that it gets to about the tip of the thumb. I do that quite a bit with fingerless gloves. That way I still have the ability to use my fingers, but a majority of my finger is covered. So, all right. And that's it. You've made a stylish cozy pair of fingerless gloves using the link stitches. Try them out. Let me know how they turned out. Drop a comment below or tag me in social media. I'd love to see your versions of this particular glove. Next up, I don't have a project planned just yet, but keep an eye out for what is to come. I've got a lot of different ideas, but I haven't decided which one I'm actually going to do just yet. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next tutorial. And until next time, happy crocheting.